artificial intelligence. This is Experiments in Artificial Intelligence, Session 4. We are going to be examining one of the big kahunas today. We went through what couple of the big kahunas last week, the biggest of them being Meta or Facebook. I think they accurately and effectively changed their name from Facebook to Meta. But I've got a news piece about them. One of the most important items, vocabulary words that I want us to develop over the 5 sessions in the seminar is the values alignment. Maybe at the break I can show something by Wolfgang Goethe from 1797, I think it was, that deals with values alignment. I may key everybody back into their childhood when I do this at break time. But a year ago, the New Yorker had on their cover this cartoon, basically, that's on the right there. And it deals with the definition of the problem or the issue or the concern or the task that the human has. And can they translate that accurately for the artificial intelligence? And the big question is, that's a huge difficulty, and most humans are not successful in doing that. But look, here's a person trying to develop a story, let's say, or write something that they have to cogitate on the issue. Here comes the AI in the second frame, excuse me, here comes the AI and looks at and assumes what the problem is. And here is the AI going to work, and then the AI completes the task as they understood it, as the human communicated it, ineffectively, of course, to the AI. And what did the AI assume the problem was? The AI assumed the problem was crumpling up pieces of paper that have writing on it and throw them away. So it's what is the problem? How does the human align the value of the AI? They may hope to do it correctly, but it's extraordinarily difficult to do. There's a mind experiment called the paperclip problem, where you define a machine to make paper clips. You set it off on its own, and it makes so many paper clips it takes over the world. It doesn't know you want to make paper clips just enough to manage your paper flow, not just continually do it. And we'll see something hopefully at the break time. It's a 10-minute video that will take everybody back to their child. But remember, we've seen this every time. Kind of the natural language portion, that natural language processing is a front end for a number of different AIs that can sit in the background. And there are billions of permutations occurring as you ask questions of the AIs.
Okay.
Here's what we're going to look at, Maureen, if you could help me and mute one of those.
Yeah, I'm muting people.
We dealt with Pi, ChatGPT, Claude. We dealt with Meta, and Perplexity is another one. That's the text to text. We've dealt with text to image, Dream Studio, Adobe Firefly, this one happens to have gone away, Google Imagen. And Meta Imagine is now, it showed us, it went from large language model, large language model to a multimedia language model, where now it can generate images from within the same interaction as asking it questions about business. And then we dealt with stable audio. Didn't we deal with another music generation program? But are there any questions? We're starting to look at different models in the background. That's what we are dealing with on an ongoing basis. And today we are looking at Google Google Gemini. In the course of a year, Google has rebranded their AI as Gemini, and you've probably seen it. Now remember, I asked last time, what can't AIs do well? And I think this is changing, especially at the top here. The AIs cannot, this is according to Claude, the AIs cannot do emotional intelligence well. I think that's changing. They can analyze sentiments and phraseology and vocabulary and tone of voice more effectively. Creativity, true creativity, yes. It is more creative than me. I can tell you some of the stuff that it creates is pretty good. Contextual understanding. This is something it can't do very well. Ethics and morals, it can't do very well. Physical world reasoning, I call movement in space. Some of the AIs from Boston Robotics, is it? I don't know if you've seen the latest of that dog AI. They have it now, can walk on 2 legs and balance on 1 leg of its 4 legs. So it's getting pretty smart. And then last week, I brought up this McKinsey chart that was pretty convoluted. And I wanted to touch it again. This is the work world that hopefully most of us have graduated from. But there are large, significant numbers of people going to be affected by AIs in the work world. And this is what McKinsey put together. And I like bubble charts. I made some money off bubble charts when I worked. Up here, you can see in the color of the bubble when the change will occur. The size of the bubble is the percentage of the population in that job category that will be effective. This is the percentage that will be up here. It's total number. Down here, it's percentage change in labor demand. And this is the percentage change in the nature of work. So STEM professionals, there's going to be a dramatic increase in the number of jobs available up here. And it's happening now. This is, if you know AI, you're going to not have job problems. Creatives, which would be PR people, magazine, graphics development, business and legal professions. There's going to be a percentage change in the work. That means the type of work that you're doing is going to change, that a business professional, the type of work that they deal with is going to change. Rather than that, they're going to be able to say to an AI, give me 100 email addresses of people that might want to buy this widget from my company, and I'm going to send an email to them saying we sell it. Whereas now they just send out millions of emails. Builders, I think these are the jobs that are going to disappear. As I said last week, have you been to a Mickey D's lately, a McDonald's? Some of them have the LED display where you choose, I want a burger and I want fries and I want an apple pie. And then you walk over. Now they got a few people, 3 or 4 back there cooking, but they don't have people asking you for the money, asking you what you want or taking your money. That's all done by machines. And it's only started. So this, I think, is a pretty complex but pretty accurate presentation of what's going to happen to work. Here's what I put together. These are the things that are going to change. Customer service. Hopefully, the Spectrum support line, technical support line robot gets a lot better, because anytime I talk to that robot, I get spun up. And by the time I get to a human, I am angry. And, I feel sorry for the tech support people if having people go through that. But so hopefully customer support. You can get on the Google phones, you can have Google dial a restaurant and then have the AI say, wait for the person to answer and then call you when the person picks up at the restaurant. The AI says to the restaurant people, I am now contacting Mr. Gerard so that he may speak with you. So that as a customer, you can have that show up. Legal support. If we have any lawyers or people that worked in law or dealt with materials, think of the company LexisNexis, which had, digitized all of the law books that you used to see on the law libraries in large legal firms. They have turned that into AIs. Medical support. I know a person working for the University of California Medical Schools, and his project was to develop the system by which all of their data gets turned into an AI. So a person has blood cancer. What the physician, 5 years from now says, person has blood cancer, what should I check for? Blah, 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 and it gives it all out. Or they could send the AI to Africa or to Asia, and then a nurse or a clinic person has a tool in front of them to work with. Computer programming, I'm using this already, where I ask AI to generate code for me so that I can put it on a website, or generate Python is one of the language, or knowledge workers. That was one of my big phrases right before I retired, is my work turned into knowledge work. So accountants, advertising, public relation, education. Just untold change is going to occur for people, knowledge workers. Some new acronyms I would like people to become aware of. In the computer world, you'll always see the phrase UI or UX. User interface or user experience. The programmers that are developing Facebook or developing the accounting software will discuss amongst themselves, what do we want the user experience to be? On your phone, what is the construct that you see on that display on your phone that a significant amount of effort has gone into designing that? And this, I thought, was very, very important. The most effective designers of the user experience are women. That is who Meta is hiring, Google is hiring women to design effective user experiences. Fine-tuning an AI, we're going to see that. We're going to see that today. In my job as a statistician for the Department of Defense, I dealt all the time with the law of large numbers. The larger the corpus of data that I submitted to my sample size when I was measuring performance, the closer I'm going to get to the mean of that population. The more you get it, the closer it is to the mean. On the right side, these are languages that are used. These are really just 6 or 7 years old. Python is way new. TensorFlow is a Google programming language for AI. It's a database language for those of you that know that, as is PyTorch. 1750s, a farmer and Anglican priest, I think his name was Joseph Bayes, developed a formula called Bayesian inference. Remember, what is the AI's response to you? You type in a query, the AI responds, and technically that is called the AI's inference. It gives you an inference, and it comes from Bayesian inference. It's what has happened in the past is a model for what will happen in the future. Margin of error, you will always see it on AI screens. These AIs can make a mistake. When we saw in the election, they say the results or the poll that they had was within the margin of error. So they didn't have a very large sample population if it's a big margin of error. The more people you have in the sample, the smaller the margin of error. We're going to deal a little bit with this today, I hope. The future of AI is multilingual. English, you know, we are biased in that we speak, many of us speak only English. That's basically all I understand nowadays. But keep in mind that many of the early AI pioneers are French, from Quebec or from France. One of the major AIs is Mistral, comes from France. The Russians are developing, they have a very, very rich history in mathematics and scientific research. The Jews in Russia were not allowed to go into political fields or business fields or industry fields because by the Russian communists, they were not trusted. So they went into mathematics and scientific research. That's a very highly developed. Chinese, second largest population, vast population, very technologically advanced. Think about their population observation, Big Brother. They have social scores. Any place you show up in China, it recognizes your face, facial recognition, and then it looks up your social score. What's the score from your neighborhood? What's your business? What's your work? How are you spending? How much in debt are you? So in effect, your, what do they call it? Fair Isaac score, your FICO score. They identify people by their FICO scores. India, I talked about this last time. There are 100 official languages in India. And what they are doing is trying to develop AIs to translate readily between them all. For farmers, for illiterate farmers, to be able to submit their crops to market and get the most out of their work, rather than selling it to the guy that the traveling salesperson picks up and cheats them out of money. Now they know what the market's saying. Chinese and Japanese. Oh boy, the Koreans have AI. Hopefully I can talk about that. And I could pictographic or ideographic languages. I'm very interested to see if that has similar patterns mathematically as Roman languages do. We're in the Roman, what's it called? The Romantic alphabet, A, B, C, D, E. That's common. There's commonalities in the structure of French, German, English, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian. There are similarities. Are there similarities in Korean, Chinese, Japanese? What's Hindi? What's, all these other scripts? Arabic. Ooh, boy, the Emirates have an AI, very powerful AI environment in the United Arab Emirates. Some of the things to think about. In China, the payment for things is almost exclusively electronic, is almost exclusively digital. They use their phones to pay at the markets. All the stores are using their phones to pay. The similarity to Alibaba has Alipay. WeChat is from the company Tencent. This is the big one, is WeChat. It's everything is done in WeChat. In the United States, the commonality would think, if you think of Apple Pay, with an Apple Watch, I pay at the coffee shops, that's how I pay. Think about the cyber interventions. Russia, Iran, North Korea that are occurring as we speak. And this is extraordinarily important here. We are not going to deal with this. I believe that my winter AI course will deal with some of these here. The open source, the freely available, almost, information from Facebook. What did they use to develop the AI? All those Facebook posts you put up, all the videos, all of the pictures your kids are putting on Instagram. Meta is using that to develop an open source kind of AI called Llama. France has Mistral. South Korea has Solar, I believe it is. United Arab Emirates has Falcon, English, Arabic. The original graphics generation program was done by a German company, released, it was called Stable Diffusion. It's still available. And then Google had an open source one that is being developed. I believe that if any physicians here, they can confirm this. There is an AI that is being developed by Google in coordination with probably large medical schools called MedPalm. MedPalm. And you can go and try and trick the Palm AI to give you medical advice. And I've got a medical condition. And I try to get information, and they always say, go to your doctor because of legal ramifications. I'm going to stop sharing here, and I want to bring this up. New York Times this morning, this is in correct form, right? What is the open source that we just talked about from Meta that uses Facebook and Instagram has now turned over the crown jewels, the inner workings of their AI to the US military. And thankfully, the group of 5 nations called Five Eyes, which is Canada, Britain, Australia, New Zealand, and the United States. So all 5 of those, it's turned it over to. But this open source material is now available to the US military. So when the counterterrorism team develops the social dynamics to destabilize country Z, they've got a very powerful AI to use to develop to disrupt the social environment prior to the surreptitious military operation. Don't get me started. I'll get too excited.
All right. Dave Garcia has a question. What is open source?
Open source is material programming that is readily available. I'm going to have to exit this side. That is open for use by anybody. So there's 2 that I developed on old-time Macintosh computers. You know, Macintosh is built upon the original Unix operating system developed at Berkeley, UC Berkeley. It's BSD, Berkeley System Division. If you ever use the terminal on Apple, you get to BSD Unix. And you can download from GitHub. Microsoft bought GitHub, a repository of millions of human beings' programs that they're giving away for free. So I downloaded 2, MusicGen, which allowed me to generate music without all of the constraints of copyright. It's free. I can do what I want with it. And Stable Diffusion. I can go out and say, scantily dressed Katy Perry, you know, she's a singer, and show her on the screen dancing. It's not motion yet, but show her up, you know, so you can do the things that you cannot do in the closed source. It's open source, freely available, but you gotta have kind of some smarts to make it work correctly. Run the programs. GitHub is one of them that has it, and it's across the board. If you need an accounting program, you go to GitHub, you can find it. If you,
So-
any kind of software, you can go to GitHub and get it.
Okay, so his follow-up is, so open source means it's available to everyone?
Yes. Who has the skill to use it. Remember that part about it. You gotta figure it out. Most of it does not just run out of the box. You've got to install it. You've got to check for errors. You got to check for spyware. But yes, anybody can use it. And the open source AI models, remember we were looking at all the models in the background? There's a repository for open source AI models called Hugging Face, where you can go and run a lot of it. Again, it's pretty wonky, but it does work. And that's kind of one of the things that you'll see as I go into Google. I got to start that up. What time is it? 1:30. Oh, no, it's not too bad. Not too bad. I'm going to share. I'm going to have to share screen 2 and then run screen 2. You're seeing Google Bard. No, change Gemini. You're seeing that. If we can remember back a year ago, Google came out with their, what they called at the time, Bard. And what we're going to find out is Google's marketing of their software is chaotic. They have again changed the name to Gemini. So Google Gemini is their AI. And we're going to encounter it not only in a command line where you say, hey, show me a business model or generate a pretty picture. We're going to also see it today in email where we say, write a letter to the staff that talks about layoffs in the corporation. Again, thinking about the workaday world. Try to jump out of our current mature selves into the workaday world, what we're going to deal with. And I put some of these together and I found out that one of them doesn't work anymore. The second one down there does not work anymore. But I wanted to put these up there quickly as a quick reference for you to find them individually should you be interested after we go through them. My model, I'm going to show them to you. And then if you are interested, if it piques your interest, you can go back and try them a little bit. Make some mistakes. You're by yourself. Only the AI knows you're a fool. And it knows I'm a fool. I can tell you. So this again is from about a year ago, the graphics here. But notice, and here it's got a text-to-text prompt entry area. It's gone from large language model to multimedia language model. So we'll see you can create images. And then sometimes you have to hit this little icon over here to begin the generation. So you will see this change a little bit. Here's after you get the inference from Gemini, here's what it looks like. Again, this is what it looked like a year ago. We're going to see what it looks like now in a few minutes. User supplied prompt. You can edit the prompt up here with this. We're going to develop this in your mind. You're going to come to recognize this icon. Here's Gemini's response. And sometimes in Gemini, there are links to the external website where it got the material. There's another look at the very complex screen that Gemini will make available to you. This has changed a little bit up here, number 4. This has changed a little bit. We'll see it. This is the same. These are the items I've looked up before. This is pretty much the same. We're going to see a lot of this. We're going to see a whole lot. This is the feedback to the AI. Hey, I did the right thing. I'm going to do more like that. You know, it's kind of like me. I try to please people. And if they're kind to me, I'll be more pleased. Share. Here's the prompt area. Again, there's the ability to upload an image. Process. You can put an image and say, what's this image? You know, our archaeologists use this to interpret papyrus from the Egyptian tomb. But that one little bit down at the bottom, this is, see where it's right down here. I've blown it up to all these items. So if you deal with Google on your computer or on a phone, you might see this. Yeah, good. The response I got is good. The response I got is bad. Plus, you can give it a little feedback if you want to. Filter or change the response. Make it shorter, make it longer, make it simpler, more casual. Share. This is the one I like the best. Export to Google Docs. That's their word processing. If you're in the workaday world, you know Google Docs. Or you'd go to Google Gmail. You can send a response to Google Gmail, or you can report issues. This has changed a little bit. Again, you're going to see something like this, and you're going to be able to regenerate. So here's the prompt up here. I say regenerate, I change it, edit it, and it does it again. And you can get to Google Maps to come up with stuff. You can get Google to tell you where it got its information. Again, from this little bit down here. And it shows it's integrated with very subtle color differences. Here's make it longer, shorter. Here's putting it in Google Docs. Any questions about that? I'm just, while I try, here we go, yes. I'm going to try
There is one question.
Could you read it for me, Maureen?
Generally speaking, to what extent are Americans knowingly or unknowingly involved in AI?
If people watch TV, if you have a smartphone in your pocket, if you use like maps, you are unknowingly participating in AI. Apple says for its privacy that it does not share your information. So Google or Apple Pay. I use Apple Pay. They are not sharing it with anybody really, but they've got it themselves. And they're using all of the information they've got in the corpus. So I would say everybody is, myself. I think everybody is. You cannot not participate. The surveillance capitalism is the word. Surveillance capitalism is what I've heard it described as. You are nudged to purchase things. You are nudged to eat things. That's very common. It's happening. I don't think you can avoid it myself. I hope I answered that. But here is, it's going to get a little confusing, I'm sorry, but here is the Gemini screen here, gemini.google.com. And I've signed in as this ID. I have all these that I use. So I could go sign in as those, but I'm signed in as this, as jgerard51@gmail. Here's all the Google apps. Oh my God. No wonder they want to break up that company. Now, notice here's what I've looked up before. It wants to sell me a $10 a month plan. And here's something that I've looked up. I looked up, please design, I gave this prompt to it before as a prep for the session. Please design a risk management plan for an initiative to reveal Ashland City regulations and council documents in an AI available for public consumption. Identify the potential risks, assess the impact and probability, and suggest mitigation strategy. So what if I wanted to run an AI on a Dell computer, the $2,500 Dell computer that could be here in 3 days? I want to start using all of Ashland's regulations and council minutes and videos and all that stuff as the corpus of material to fine-tune Meta's open source. So I load Meta's open source AI on this Dell computer that I'm buying. Now I scrape all of the Ashland City websites for their regulations, their council minutes, anything that they release, and I fine-tune, I build upon the Meta AI. What's the problem with it? Well, here's the problems as Google sees it. Data accuracy, AI bias, privacy risks, technical failures. I could get sued by Ashland. Here's the probabilities. Now remember that I gave these business-oriented prompts out last week. Here's mitigation strategies, AI bias mitigation, use diverse and representative data sets. Oh boy. Conduct regular security audits. Comply with relevant data laws. We'll see something today. I hope we get there. And remember, this little bit right here, I'm going to say that's a good response. It's correct. And what if I'll share this in just a second. I could look up the Google information. It's looking, evaluating Gemini statements and understanding the results. I don't know what that would take me a second to understand that. Here's legal, but let's go here. Export to Google Docs. Again, I'm in Google Chrome here. I'm using Google Chrome as my web browser on a Macintosh computer. It's creating the document. Open the document down here. And now it's copied. All of that text, all of the inference that Gemini gave me is now, let's see here, in a Google Docs item. And now let's look in Google Docs. Look on the right side here. Notice this little icon right here. We're going to deal with that in just a second. Remember, it's edit the prompt, help me write, recognize that little symbol when you're dealing with Google AI. I believe it's becoming a common icon. Add a comment, so I can print this out, I think. Where is there a print icon up? There's no print. Print, where's print? File, print. Print. Let's see if that, I don't know if you can hear it in the background. I can print this out. I could email it to my funding partners after I edit it. You have to check. You as the human being has to check. Gemini. And I tried to generate some images, but it didn't work out very well. Oh, did it? It came down. Here's code. I talked about code that can be generated. I tried to use the multimedia aspects, multimedia language model, MMLM, but I was having problems. So it told me I could use Python. This is what Python looks like. No, it's not. Let's see. Paint a impasto image of a Paris cafe. Oh, you got to buy now. You guys, how much do they want? See, this is happening every. Oh, geez, you see, they don't even tell you. Oh, for the first then $20 a month. Sorry. I tried. Let's see if let's show drafts. Regenerate, I think is what, let's see if it'll do it. So this is what is happening in the AI world. Here's, you get 3 different drafts. Paint and empty an impasto image of an EMPTY cafe in Paris at night. I'll give up after this because
It's time for a break.
it's time for a break. So there we go. So it will generate an inference image from within Gemini. Let's take a 8-minute break, and I'm going to try to bring up my little image here. So please set a timer for 8 minutes.
8 minutes, counting down.
Let's take a break for 8 minutes, and I'm going to play a little bit on the screen and try to bring up a movie from our childhood. We'll only play parts of it. Now, as you're getting your tea, I'm going to run this just to get it started. And then I'll pause it. Oh, not my intent, I can tell you. This was the original story by Goethe, 1797, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, Die Zauberlehrling. So, and the music is from the 1940s. I think the cartoon is the 1950s. We used to sit in the downstairs room and watch it on color TV. When color TV came on, I certainly remember that from how many years ago? 60, 70, or 60 years ago. But let's see now if I can't share desktop 2 and start the second part. It's in some of the materials. It's, I believe, in page 12, slide 12. If you go to gmail.com, you'll see this. I've tested it. This is generally what the Gmail screen looks like. On the left is your storage areas. Here's your current mail list. And then if you type compose, it will put create window down in the lower right. You can click the 2 arrows and it puts the compose window right in the middle. But look down here at the bottom. Look down here at the bottom. Please, I'm going to go to the next page. Look at this right here. Help me write. You put your cursor right in the message and it says, help me write. You click on that. I want to write a letter to my friend Mary for paying for lunch. Click create. And it generates the letter for you. Then again, these may be a little different in the way that you see it, but you got refine, insert the changes, recreate the message. So let's see now if I can bring, I might have killed that. No. No, let's just bring up. There we go. This is what I was. So let's go to, no, this is the Zoom here. Oh, advance. Here it is. I'm sorry. Here's what Gmail, mail.google.com, just gmail.com. Here's what it looks like. Compose. Notice it's got a little Gemini window. Haven't used this yet. This is new. This symbol up here is new. I don't know what that does. I'm going to hit compose. Close this up here. Notice how the little window shows up here. If I click, it makes it big. And let's see, I click there. I just clicked where I'm going to enter. And look what it's done. Help me write. Hit the space bar. Okay. Right, and I've kind thank you to Jamie for the job interview. Two days ago. Ask her if she needs anything more from, and then I click create. Notice how, no, that's not too good. Notice down here, I'm going to say, no, I don't like that. I could tell it more. And as soon as this goes away, I'm going to have it recreate it. Generate it once more. Again, this is with refine, elaborate. Didn't do much. Formalize. There you go. Getting a little. And then you read it, and then I say, oh, I mean, that's good enough for me. I'm going to send it now to Maureen Gerard at Yahoo. The subject, job interview. And bingo. Imagine you're in the work world. You're looking for a job, you're on the job, you're dealing with your compatriots, you're a boss and you got to write messages. Okay. This is in Google Mail.
Interestingly enough, there was a big box on top of it when I received it that says, "We think this message is spam. We still put it in your inbox as the sender is in your contact list. You can mark this message as safe or remove this sender."
Ooh.
So it must think it's spam because why? Why do you think?
It has keywords in it that indicate an AI, or the structure of the message is so formulaic that it assumes that it's AI generated. Keep in mind, this AI stuff has been available to marketers for a year and a half now. We just finished the election. I don't know how many text messages you guys got or how many email messages you got, but I feel confident in guaranteeing that some of that stuff was generated by AI. I feel without a doubt. Now, again, Google Docs. Google Docs. Widely used in small business. It's very inexpensive. You don't have to buy Microsoft Word for everybody. I think it's only like $10 or something a year to make Google Docs available in your business. But here's that icon again. Add a opening for my business partner who is searching for funding for this project. Please insert, let's see if it'll do this at beginning of text. Let's see what this does. Boom, look at the way it tells you it's working. It's gone to Google's data centers, wherever that is. And there we go. My name is, and I am the CEO of Talks with Crows. I am writing you today to express my interest in securing funding for our cutting-edge project, the AI-powered Ashland City regulations. And let's see if I can insert that. Oh, it just put it where the cursor was. Will it undo it? Oh, see, there's undo. It undid it. Oh, and I lost it. So I hope I didn't screw that up by going too fast. But in Google Docs, which is a pretty good word processor, there's a little clunky saving things where you want them. But it does work fairly well. Again,
So, Jim,
yes.
I tried these from my Apple computer, and neither the Gmail nor Google Docs works with that AI. It does not appear.
Then let's go to labs.google. And scroll. These are all of the labs things. And let's see if we can turn on we're going to go to these in just a second. games I don't want. I think it's Gen AI. Do all 8. Thanks for bringing that up. Learn more. Photos.
It's Gen AI in Chrome.
Oh, see, they've changed this. I'm gonna have to work with you, Maureen, to figure out how you turn on search generative experience. I'm gonna, oh darn. Search generative experience. No, I'm sorry. I will try to figure that out, why it's not showing up for you, Maureen. But it's search generative experience, SGE. I will follow up on that. But we are again getting towards the end, and there's a couple things more that I want to show you. One of them is NotebookLM. Notice the phrase up here. Oh, let's see here. That's who I am now. Notebook language model, google.com. These allow me to fine tune Google AI. So Maureen and I live near the Union Pacific Railroad, which I don't know if you are in the railroad district, but there's about a 15-acre lot that is the old railroad yard where the train came to Ashland. And when we first moved here, I wrote to the Department of Environmental Quality of the state of Oregon, because they've done significant number of studies. And I asked for all of the materials on the Union Pacific Railroad yard. And I loaded all of these documents into it. Here's the documents. And I'll try to do that in just a second. But now that I've got all that in there, I can say down here at the bottom, what are the toxins in the UPRR? I can write a phrase. It's chugging away there. So it's gone through the 20 documents. That's the max. There's a maximum amount of information you can put in it. It used to be 20. I don't know how much it is now. But here's its response. And imagine without this, I would have 300 documents that I would have to search through. But to find this information, but notice the footnote, it has gone and found the material for that particular one. If I wanted to find polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbons in shallow soil, let's go to the footnote. There it is right there. I can research this information. Boom. Now, let's close this. See if I remember how to close this. Go back, go back. Go back. I'm gonna try, I'm gonna screw this up. No, there we go. Let's go to public trust in Oregon. This is one that I learned on. I've went to the Secretary of State for the state of Oregon and looked at all of their candidate integrity documents. So if you run for an office in Oregon, you have to follow certain regulations. I've put all of those in. It took me a half a day. ORS, I'll look at all the different citations here, but let's say, what do candidates for city council have to report regarding finances for their run for office? Chugs away. Chug, 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 chug. Let's see if this was one of my favorite ones here. Let this run for a few seconds. There we go. I'm not filing requirements. Candidates for city council in Oregon are considered public officials and must comply with the Oregon government ethics law. They must file annually a statement of economic interest. This is what they have to file. Oh, let's look up. They must announce their potential conflicts of interest. They have to, what are the limits? Overview of the commissions and small entities, i.e. there's 2 in Ashland. $1,000 if you got investments of $1,000 and something, you gotta have notification. So there are some limits. I'm going to show you can dump your PDFs, your text files. I don't know what Markdown is. You can put audio in, and I'm going to guess you can probably put in Docs, Google Docs. You can link Google Docs, yep, Google Slides. This is what you can put in your source that you want to search. So if, again, one of the points I made at the very beginning is I am incurably curious. So if I want to study what the Planning Commission of the city of Ashland has to, what the members have to disclose, that's what I wanted to research. I said, how can I do this? I don't want to read through all these regulations. I just have questions. So it was easier for me to dump all these regulations from the state website into this and then query with my questions. And you can see what I put in. Just let's go back. Public trust in Oregon, Union Pacific Railroad, these are of interest to me. Our homeowner association incorporation. I tried to figure this out. How do I make this available now? The problem right now is I do not know how to disclose this link. If I wanted to make this one with all of the public official notification requirements to all 40 people in the session here, I can't do it yet. I may be able to do it, and I don't know how. But the last time, let's see here. I don't know. Oh, my goodness. I would have to figure this out. I don't know the answer yet. But imagine this. If you're a candidate for city office and you want to find out what your opponent is not doing, this is, get 2 or 3 people chugging away on this and you got a lot. Now, let's see what here. Google Gemini NotebookLM. Here's NotebookLM. This is what we just went through. This is a little bit different how it looks. Again, this is your how-to guide. You have learned that this is available. Now it's up to you as a user, as a learner, to figure out how to use it. This is the old time way. This is, and I distributed this. Here's one that has all of the information that here's me copying, 20 documents from the railroad yard. And then you can see it chugging away. It gives you a little, you can add after the fact. Here's all available. Here's what you can, where you can type. Here's the responses. It will remember what you ask it. Here's the citations. There was a very important question the very first day. A gentleman asked, is this just like Facebook or Instagram, where you can't trust the information? Well, the answer is it's starting to make citations available. Look for the little footnotes in the items as they become available. This I distributed to you, so let's see if I can quit out of this. Notice, see, it has 10 citations. This is the one that I've looked up. You can, it's, again, this is, no, what, okay, here is, let's just, next week, it is now time. This one, if you want to try things out, AI Test Kitchen. Maybe it's here, Maureen. No, it's not here. You can create images. You can create music. This is Google's AI. It is a bit disconnected from Gemini to integration into mail and word processing, and to create your own AI to use. 2, image generation, music generation. I've signed up for video. I'm sorry I take so long. Oh, again, that movie, the Mickey Mouse, the question of developing a technology that can be aligned. The reason I showed that is the problem or the values created in the AI were inexact. Does anybody know? Let's think of Goethe when he originally wrote I think it was a poem, they wrote that way in 1797. What was the technology of that time that is comparable to the AIs we are seeing now? 1790s, what was the technology occurring at that time that is comparable to AI now? What did he put on a hat? What was the kind of thing that they had back in the 1790s where the guy would put that hat on? I'll give you the dirty word that they use, alchemy. And they are alchemists. They're creating, what did they call sulfur back then? I forget what there was a name for sulfur. And so the technology that was becoming available in the 1790s at the time of Goethe was chemistry. In Germany, what is one of their major strengths now economically? Think of BASF. Think of the other German corporations. They are very much chemical oriented societies. So at the time that Goethe wrote that about in that poem, the guy creates things to carry water, and that's all they do. They don't stop when it's full and then start back up when it's empty. So was chemistry. You can create bombs with chemistry. And they were worried just as we are worried about AI. Back in the 1700s, they were worried about what chemistry could do. And chemistry was magic back then, as AI is magic now. So I've got homework figuring out why Maureen did not see help me write, and in docs did not see help me write, that one icon that looks like a pencil with a star by it. Thank you. Any question? I'll take questions. Do we have anything in chat? Nothing in chat? Yes. The question from Barbara Partridge. It's an excellent question. You are participating in it. If you use a credit card, Visa, MasterCard, if it's a large bank, the Chase, Citi, Capital One, they are building AIs based upon all that information. So imagine how many credit card transactions occur, and all of the information. When you touch that card, it's the shop you're at, what type of shop is it, probably maybe a product definition. All of that can be incorporated into a Visa credit AI. And what are they aligning their AIs to do? Are they aligning their AIs to make you a more effective purchaser? I'm going to say no. Somebody can come around and slap me around for saying that. They are creating their AI, aligning the AI to get you to use your credit card more regularly, to nudge you into using your credit card more regularly. What are the others? I could go on and on for this. I get too excited about these things, but thank you very much for participating. This is Google. This is Google's AI. Now, who knows what's going to happen in a year? There's a move to break up Google. There's a move to break up Meta, Facebook, their AI components, Instagram, WhatsApp. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know what's going to happen. Look, I'm going to guess that Twitter is going to get a lot of attention. I'm going to imagine no, I'm not going to look today to see what Twitter stock did. What did Twitter stock do today? I don't know. But that's enough. Any questions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Thank you very much, folks. It's a new world. And I think I plan to use AI to help me. Yes, there are infinite number of dangers out there because of it. I want to be aware of the potential. It's not going to go away if I ignore it. I'm not going to be able to stop it. The Chinese want it, the Russians want it, the Arabs want it, the Israelis got it, the Ukrainians are using it now in battlefield. The French have it. Japanese, China. It ain't going away. So I want to be knowledgeable. Thank you. I got to shut up. Ciao. Bello.